friends, it's Tracy and Violet from Tea Time with Tracy and Violet. Yes. Anyways, I'm sorry I have not done a Teacup book chit chat the past few days. It's just been busy with Christmas and July dinner. My sister's come to visit, and it's just the way it goes. I'll probably go through peaks and valleys in regards to this channel and do a few days in a row and then not for a few days, but that's real life. But I usually am on the ball with my other Nova Scotia Living channel, usually. But I really enjoy these book chats because I just need to talk to somebody about these books that I read, that understands, and no judgment here. All respect, opinions are welcome. Disrespect is not. So always be proud of what you read and don't be ashamed of it. So anyways, I have, okay, you can get to stepping. I actually have my battery pack. I'm gonna plug that in real quick so you don't die on me. Is that working? Yes, it is. I brought out, I love this teapot. It's like, it always reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, like the Mad Hatter. You know, those funny looking teapots. I've had this for years and years, just because it was so cool. And I have some king cold tea in this. So, yeah. I also brought out a little creamer. You've seen her before. And I picked one of my pretties. Violet's exploring. She's tied to a great big rope from a limb. I'll show you after. We usually have a tire hanging from it, but I just tied her long lead to that so she can roam all around without wandering off, because I'm focusing on this. But look at this beauty. A proud Canadian. Yes. I don't know if it's maple leaf tartan. Yeah. But now she has gold up at the top, gold down the side of her elbow, like you can see right there, gold on this side of her elbow, and gold on the back. So, you know, she's making a statement. And if you'll notice down here at the bottom, she has some down there too. And a gold slipper, like, and on her pedestal or her skirt. Beautiful. Violet, what are you doing? So this is Ridgeway Potteries Limited, Royal Adderley, Fine Bone China, England, Maple Leaf Tartan, RD 1964, Rotex Limited. So yeah, beautiful. So I don't know if this is steeped enough. No, not quite yet. I'll wait a minute. But I'm going to talk about two books today. I just finished one of them today. I read the other one, I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something. So I didn't really get a chance to refresh with it, but I remember it pretty vividly because it was a good one. These two books are the first two books in a series. They're by Gianna Darling, and I think there's 6 or 7 books in this series, but this is book 1 and this is book 2, and yeah, they're good ones. I really enjoyed them. They're not too hard and heavy. They're kind of, it depends on what you like or what you're comfortable with. They're a bit on the taboo side in the sense, oh geez, that's my husband starting the motorcycle. Speaking of motorcycles, these are motorcycle books. What was that, Violet? He knew I was out here, for goodness sakes. I don't know what it is, but it's some sort of motorcycle he has. Where is he going? Just bear with me, guys. I have my very own motorcycle man. Oh, there he goes. Anyways, yes, Gianna Darling, and this is the Fallen Men series. So there's 6 or 7 books, I think, and I do have the 3rd book. I haven't read it yet, and I plan on reading that. I plan on reading the whole series, but I just don't have all the books yet. And they're good-sized books. Like, they're not This one's longer. Oh, this one's a little longer than that one, but they're good sized books. The first one was 366 pages. Oh, there's a caterpillar right on this leaf. Look at that. Can you see that fuzzy creature? It's like I'm in Alice in Wonderland. He's just missing his little smoking thing. Yeah, well, you go play over there, buddy. And then this one is 454. But it really didn't take me very long to read, simply for the fact I enjoyed the story. So I'll go over the first one first. I need this tea. I need this tea. I can hear him way down there now. I understand, people, it's nice to have loud things, but it still isn't quite as... I like a good strong tea, but I can't wait for that. My second cup will be a bit stronger. I forgot to bring out a teaspoon, but that's okay. I'll just let it swirl around there. So the first book, Lessons in Corruption. This is the one I finished today. I read the second book before I read the first book. Didn't realize, but that's okay. You can read them apparently standalone, but it's kind of, it all ties in together. So it's not necessary, I don't think, but it's better if you do, because the characters are all through all the series, I believe. So the Fallen Men series, the Fallen Men is the motorcycle club. So yes, let me have a sniff of this. It's good. Delicious. I brewed a whole pot too, so I'm drinking it all evening if I have to. But this book, I say it's a bit taboo for some people. I didn't mind it so much. There's an age gap, and it's an older woman and younger man. You know, or should I go like that? So, and it's not just that, it's a teacher and a student. So, you know. So, anyways, oh, for crying out loud. The hero, or the man in this book, his name is King Garrow, King Kyle Garrow. He's the student. He's 18 years old, mind you. And the woman in this is Crescenda. I think that's what it is. But she often goes by Chris, like C-R-E-S-S. Yeah, Crescenda. Anyways, I'll start with Crescenda. So Crescenda grew up in a posh neighborhood. This is all based in Canada too, over in British Columbia, the west side of the country. We're on the east side, and that's the west side. But anyways, I think it's called Dunbar, where she grew up. So her parents were very conservative. Her father's best friend and neighbor, I believe, lived right next door, and he is a lawyer. So she was brought up. She did have an older brother, and he is in this book too. He's a separate character. I'll get into that a little bit, but anyway, she grew up and she was almost groomed to be this man. His name's William, Dad's best friend's wife. So from the age of 15, she did have this major crush on William, but she was young and naive, and you know, this is what she grew up thinking was supposed to be, almost like Stepford wives. You know, you have supper on the table, you do, and that's what you do. You know, you look good, you go to your book club with your mom and stuff. I've never belonged to a book club. I'd like to. I don't know. But anyways, she was married when she was 18. I believe as soon as she turned 18, she got married to William, next door neighbor, Dad's best friend. Very wealthy guy. But he was so square. That's the easiest way to put it. Like he was a creature of habit. Like when he got home from work, he expected this and this. He wasn't abusive. He was just kind of neglectful in regards to her needs. She was so young, and they were together for 8 years, I believe. And she went through the motions. But as she got older, she was so young, she felt like an old woman and being 26. And he didn't really, there wasn't any passion. Like, he didn't really have sex unless they were going to try to have kids. Like, it wasn't an enjoyable thing, even though she was all ready to rock, and she would try to entice him into, let's try, and he just blew her off, not in the blew her off, but just waved her away, like, no, don't be so ridiculous, Crescenda. That's not appropriate. Like, you don't need to do that. Why do you degrade yourself and act like a floozy? Anyways, it was driving her insane. Okay. One day, she was brought up like in a wealthy home, environment and stuff. She ended up going to university, becoming a teacher, but she didn't actually go to actually be a teacher. She was expected to stay at home when she was married. So they were all proud of her, pushing her to go get an education for the status of having an education with an educated husband. But she was supposed to play the role of the doting wife and, that sort of thing. One day she was coming out of a grocery store, okay? And she's dumbstruck, like gobsmacked, because this beast of a man. Oh, before I forget, this cup, look at her. She's showing right off right there, that maple leaf right there. She comes out of the grocery store. She's walking to her car, and I envision her with paper bags holding them in her arms. And she's gobsmacked by seeing this big beast of a man, tatted up, ripped jeans, blonde, messy hair, like man bun kind of. I don't think he had a man bun then, but he's just like shaggy hair, but gorgeous. Yes. Him and his best friend, his name is Mute. But she's gobsmacked seeing this guy. Like, she's dumbfounded because she's like love at first sight. And this is not an insta-love kind of story. Like, they're not, oh, I'm in love with you right now, But she's just like, oh my goodness, I'm missing out so much. Like, I'm so young and I can't even indulge in these things. So she goes home and tries hard to seduce her husband, and she gets a little bit of loving all on her part, and then she wakes up the next day and realizes, okay, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it. Go, girlfriend. Yes, go. So she ends up, time jumps just a couple of months or something, and she's living in this rundown little cabin. I forget what she called it. Shabby something cabin or something. Her husband cut her off completely from the joint account. Her parents were totally not impressed that she left him, because this is what they prepared her for and expected her to do, and kind of cut her off emotionally. And they tried at every turn to get her to come back home, and didn't care one way or the other how she felt. So she got this teaching job at this elite school, okay? I won't say too much more, but this elite school. And she's 26. Beautiful, little, skinny, blonde, just a teacher. So she's teaching this high school class, and in walks this, a neighbor's coming down the drive. Oh, it's Flora and Larry. They're my neighbors there. They're artists. Flora paints, and he makes jewelry, and it's very fancy. Very, very fancy. Yes. And anyways, yeah, in walks this student, and lo and behold. But before that day that he walks in, she can't stop thinking about this guy. I might wait until they go, because they're right there. So just hold on a second. Hi. Hope you're enjoying your summer. Yeah. I'm just having a cup of tea talking to my friends.
Good. Wonderful.
Yes, it's nice and shady. Ooh, that's a little too much cream. I need some more tea in there. There. All right, so before the student walks into her class, I need to backpedal a little bit. She ends up going to a bar with some colleagues, which she's never had girlfriends before. Like she lived such like in a bubble with her parents and then her husband. Older, mind you. He's like mid-30s, you know, closer to 40, and you know, like that's a quite an age gap in itself. She ends up going to this bar with some colleagues, and she was like hesitant to go because she didn't really know anybody, but she ended up going, and she ends up seeing this guy on the motorcycle. Turns out it was King, and they have a little run-in, not like a intimate run-in, but they lock eyes and a little stuff happens, which I won't get into. And the next day she goes to class, and there had been all this buzz around the school that this new student's coming, and he is the son of the Fallen Men's Motorcycle Club. And this Fallen Men's Club, I'm telling you, it runs the joint. They pretty much are the prominent motorcycle, well, I don't know, prominent drug running of marijuana in North America, and like the big honcho. So he is the son of the president of the Fallen Men. So this is all a big hoopla and stuff. So of course she doesn't have any idea. He walks into her class and she's gobsmacked again, because they had just met the night before, and she was, you know, kind of giddy about that. Like, oh, I finally met the man that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I left my husband for. Not that she was leaving for him, but it was the catalyst that sent her off. Now, he's a student. He is 18. Nothing, you know, like he's not minor or anything, but technically it's unethical, student-teacher kind of thing. He is enthralled by her. Enthralled. Okay, so that's all I'll say about her. She's very inexperienced, very naive in the sense because she's never had any out experience. She wasn't like a rowdy teenager or anything like that. So then, yeah, and strolls him. So yeah. Anyways, now King, he, like I said, he is the son of Zeus, is his father. Zeus, yeah, of the head honcho of this motorcycle club. And he doesn't look like any teenager, okay? He's big, he's muscled, he's rivals any person in this prep school kind of thing, right? He's just there. Turns out, I shouldn't say it like that. Turns out like he's super smart, but you know, don't ever judge a book by its cover. I know that. He is a very big reader. Cheers to you, King. Yeah. He's very smart and academically, like, but the administration of the school are like, why is he here? Why is he here? But he was smart enough to get into the school. Might have had a little pressure from the headmaster, even though he was smart enough to get in. You know, yeah, let my son in. He's eligible to get in, kind of thing. And she's devastated. She's devastated because, oh my God, I kind of like flirted with my student. I kind of, you know, went on a motorcycle ride with my student, and like I'm gonna lose my job. She's been completely cut off from her family, except for them nagging her to come back, do the right thing, come back to your stiff arse husband. And she had like $2,000 in her account that she had saved privately, and She got help from her brother, who had been estranged from his family for another reason, which I'm not going to get into. Read the book. There's a lot of stuff, elements in these stories. So she had this rundown little cottage, like really rundown, you know, like almost condemned looking little place. And she's, oh my gosh, I need this job. I don't have any money. Like, I have to. I can't lose my, you know, can't. But he is so enthralled with her, he doesn't let it go. And that's probably my husband. Maybe that's my king. Is that my king? King, over here. Oh, it's not him. Maybe he'll come for me later. Because King is a tasty. Yeah. It's just a book, guys. I'm not after any. I'm not a cougar. Normally, if I was going for anybody, it would be somebody older than me. I'm not into youngins. Not really. But in a book, I can be, right? So anyways, he's all out. You're mine. You're mine. You know, pushing her boundaries, pushing, and she's all like, oh, no. But not in a corny way. Like, I want to talk about the whole story, but then you might not want to read it because you'll know the whole story. Now, that was just giving you some sort of an idea of what these two main characters are. There's a lot of other characters, and there's a whole great big backstory in this. Okay, so they're the Fallen Men's Club is the main motorcycle. There's a rival one that shows up. There's a couple of betrayals, big ones, and there's violence. Yeah, and I have to say the steamy scenes, and when I say steamy, I mean, you know, steamy. They're really well written. They really are. I don't find them too fast or too slow. It gets to the point, but at a reasonable time, and gets you a little hot and flustered under the collar sometimes. It does. I never ever would have looked at somebody younger than me, except for like, oh, he's handsome or she's beautiful, you know. But King, I'm just like, oh my goodness. Oh, is it getting hot in here? Like, I thought he was a really good character. Yeah. So I'm not all for the unethical behavior of teachers and students. I am not. Certainly not. But this story, I really enjoyed it. I didn't know if I would like it as much as I like this second one. Like, I like the second one too. And I was just like, oh, I hope the first one's is like the second one. Oh, is that my king? King, you're slowing down, buddy. I think it is. Ooh. Watch out, Martin. But anyways, yeah, I enjoyed this. So there's a big story. I won't get into it so much. I just want to give you like the Cole's notes about these characters, and yeah. So, but I do have to say, the second book goes into it. So this book was King and Carissa, but he always called her Queenie, or Queenie. So that's the son. This book, oh, well, I didn't even read the back of this. It's not very long. Let me read this. Lessons in Corruption. He was 18, the heir of the notorious criminal MC, and my student. There was no way I could get involved, no way I could stay involved, then no way I could get out alive. And yeah, that's kind of true. Again, goes into the further story because, yeah, there's some violence and crazy that goes all up in this. So that's the back of that one. So this one has to do with his father, Zeus. Okay, this is another age gap one. This is a bigger age gap one. And this is the details I can't really recall. This one is between, they're 19 years difference. Yeah, 19 years difference. And I don't mind, I really don't mind age differences. I don't. As long as nobody's being taken advantage of. That's where it crosses a line for me. This has to do with Zeus and Louise, who we'll get into. But let me read the back of it. So, welcome to the dark side. I was a good girl. I ate my vegetables, volunteered at a local autism center, and sat in front of the pew of church every Sunday. Then I got cancer. What the hell kind of reward was that for a boring life well lived? I was a 17-year-old, a paradigm of virtue, and I was tired of it. So when I finally ran into the man I've been writing to since he saved my life as a little girl, he offered to show me the dark side of life before I left it for good. I said yes, Violet. Only I didn't know Zeus Garo, or Jaro, was the president of the fallen MCs. And when you made a deal with a man who was worse than the devil, there was no going back. Okay? Zeus is a guy too. He's quite a slice. Yes. Okay, so at the beginning of this book, it starts off in the past. Louise is like 7 or 8. She's just little. And she's coming out of church with her parents. And motorcycle gun fight happens in the parking lot. I think they're coming from church or something. Anyways, she's always been fascinated with motorcycles when she was little because they rumble like dragons. And for some reason, her being little, her parents didn't try to save her, like they just covered themselves, and she ran to this big beast of a man. She's 7 and he's 29, and this big beast of a man takes a bullet for Louise because it's the rival people shooting, and they end up going to the hospital. He ends up killing the person that shot. The guy was trying to shoot Louise. Monster. Why would you shoot a child? But anyways, he ends up shooting this basketball. Ooh, there's a bumblebee. And they end up in the hospital. At the hospital, Louise's family finds out she has cancer. Okay, so it's a blessing in disguise that at least they caught it when she was little. Okay? And she's all wondering what happened to her. I forget what she called him. Dragon. I might be getting that wrong. Monster. I forget. There was some sort of cute little dark, twisted nickname she had for him. And she wanted to know what happened to him. Just little, because he was the only one that seemed to take notice of her during this tragic event in her life. She finds out that he's in the same hospital, but he's under arrest because he killed somebody, even though it was in self-defense. He's the head of the motorcycle gang or club, so he's, an easy target kind of thing for the Poe. So one night in the hospital, she sneaks out and goes and finds where this hospital room is, and he's very, very sweet to her, charms her, doesn't try to get her to come in or anything, but she just won't seem to leave him alone. She's infatuated with him because he saved her, and he's a great big god of a guy, who looks mean and scary, but how can he be mean and scary when he saved me? So she's, Now Louise's parents, Louise's father is the mayor of this town, and it's quite a prestigious position. The place is called Entrance, I believe. And she grew up, she has a sister too, but she grew up in not a very affectionate home. Like, she was well taken care of, and all during political events, the parents would have the two girls at press releases or like meetings or celebrations and things to make it look like they're family oriented and stuff. Violet, you're gonna knock these guys over. Skedaddle. Skedaddle. Look at her. Look. Anyways, So not that she didn't love her parents, but her parents didn't love her in this nurturing sense of loving her. Go over that way. Go over that way. No, go over that way. So she never, no, she always had nannies and things. Violet, go around. She's, all right, all right. Sorry guys, just a second. There we go. There we go. Yeah, she always had nannies, like her nannies always kind of raised her, except for these events that her parents dragged her and her sister to. Okay, so turns out she finds out this Zeus, who was like a cool name, like a kid, you know, your name is Zeus, you are an angel, you have special powers and things. Oh, I love you too. And he ends up going to jail because he did kill somebody, no matter what. And she's really upset about it. No, Daddy, no, don't do this, don't, you know. Okay, so fast forward a bit. She ends up writing letters to him. This is where it gets a little weird for me. I'm just like, really? I don't know. Not that it's bad, but she ends up writing letters to him in jail. Fairy god monster? I forget what it's called. And watch out, hun. He and over the next 10 years, she writes him letters and he writes her back. And they're not like sexual letters at all. Like they're not. And he even tries to discourage her from writing these letters. And you wonder, well, how can she write letters and send them to him in jail? The nannies help her, apparently. The nannies help her. So they end up forging this weird kind of friendship. And then when she's 17, she declares this kind of connection with him that she's never had with anybody else, which is true. He's listened to her and he swears and all that stuff, like he doesn't hold back in letters and everything. That she feels like she loves him and wants to be with him. And he's like, no, we're done. You can't be writing letters anymore. We're not doing that anymore. Anyways, he gets out of jail. He doesn't live right around her or anything, but eventually they cross paths. Now I'm cutting stuff out. They will cross paths again. Because when she's 17, she ends up getting cancer again. And she was so upset because he cut her off because she declared these feelings for him. And the only good thing she remembered about her cancer from when she was little is she had Zeus she could talk to, and you know what I mean, somebody that who protected her before, he can protect her again, because he kept telling her that she's going to recover when she was little. You're gonna be fine. I'm gonna make sure you're gonna be okay. And she beat cancer, or you know, now it's back and Zeus isn't in the picture anymore. And she's like, oh my goodness, I haven't even lived a life because I've been living in this box, kind of like what's her name, like Queenie or Crescinda, and living in this political box that I need to be a good girl. I look like I don't do anything. I go to church every Sunday. I don't do any drinking or shenanigans that teenagers do these days, or generations past, I'm sure. Oh, can you wait till I'm done? Anyways, she decides she needs to live a little bit, because she's not sure if she's gonna actually live much longer. So God forbid she asks her parents to do anything. I'm skipping over parts, but she gets this kind of helper job at a strip joint. She's not legally, like in Canada, you got to be 19 to drink, at least in Nova Scotia. I don't know about other provinces. You got to be 19. She's not quite technically, but they hired her anyways. Or she volunteered, actually. She wasn't even hired. She volunteered. And she volunteers at the autism center too. But she volunteered. But of course, she didn't tell her parents this. So what she would do was just like clean up, and you know, she wasn't a bartender or a stripper or anything. She just helped, a handy, you know, a gopher, you know, a gopher person. Go for this, go for that, one of those kind of people. And she loved it. It was dirty and dark and living on the wild side, even though it was just helping cleaning up, and it was a rundown strip joint, like rundown. The people were nice, but it was a scuzzy kind of strip joint. And she grew quite close to some of the people there, but the place was sold, and she was quite upset. She was like, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore, like, as the new person. But guess who buys the strip joint to fix it up, to get it, you know, money making? You got it. Zeus and the fallen MCs. So Zeus knows who she is. I can't remember. I don't think he bought it because he knew she was there, or maybe he did. I can't recall. Like, so he can keep an eye on her on the outskirts of it, because he still cared for her. He just didn't want to be that kind of a relationship because it's inappropriate, you know, 19 years difference. But she does turn 18 in this book, so technically it's, I think the age of consent is 16 anyways, but she is a legal adult, but she's still going to high school in this. And yeah, like, his kids are older than her, you know. Anyways, that's where their paths cross. Now, the backstory that's in the first book carries over to this book. Like, the different clubs and rival this and cartel that, and Abraham hit him with a wiffle ball bat. Do you know what that's from? It's from a movie. But seriously though, like, the backstory and the drama. Now, they end up reconnecting in a way, and it snowballs from there. Her parents don't find out about this. Maybe they do, maybe they don't later on in the story, but I really enjoyed this. The only part that I had a little issue with was just like, you're 7 years old and you're writing to this person in jail, and I could see maybe writing a letter to thank him, and he's writing ones back and there's a few swear words in it, and I'm just like, really? If I was a nanny, I'd be like, hold up, but she's playing with, that's the only thing that I was like, I don't know, but I don't know, right? Could happen. Now, I would recommend this book in the sense, it didn't blow me away like, oh my God, but I really, really enjoyed it, and enough that I would actually go buy the rest of the series. I really like the storytelling in this, because it's not just a quick read. I mean, it didn't take me long to read, but it wasn't like bang, 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 all these things happen at once. No, you have to tiptoe through the tulips to get through the story, but you enjoy every tiptoe that you do, kind of thing. Violet, could you please be so kind as to go around on the other side? I told you this. I told you. Let me move you guys. All right? I love you, but come on. It's just you're on kind of a hill there. Anyways, I would recommend it. Yes, I enjoyed it, and it's dark in some senses, but not so dark. It wasn't dark like the Tilly Cold Scarred Souls book talk that I did. That was a bit darker than this, for sure. But it was on the same level in regards to the dark romance. It is a dark romance, for sure. It's not a light and fluffy. They're twisted kind of love stories. And they're not your stereotypical fluff happily ever afters. Not to say there isn't a happily ever after in books like this, but you got to work at it, and you got to look at it through a different lens sometimes, and that's what these are. So I do plan on reading the 3rd book. I do plan on reading the rest of the series, but just right now, those are the only ones that I've read. So I'm going to end this video for now because this might be a long one. I talked about 2 books and I talked a lot about them. So I'm going to finish this pot of tea too because it's delicious. I'll hold it up to see if I can get a screenshot of it for my... That pot's kind of hard to see with the tree behind me. I'll show you the tree after, but it's a big one. If I could climb up there, I would have sat up there and did it. But anyways, I want to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to end this now because I'm still working on my other daily vlog. So, I got some stuff to do, but I'm going to try to do another one tomorrow because I have other books I've read that I want to talk about them before I forget the details and stuff. And I already started a new book for today, so that'll be coming up too. It's called The Bet. So anyways, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning, and I might see you tomorrow. Bye. Bloop.